Hello everyone, this is Robin Carter and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas, and today I am here to share my third set of alternatives using the October 2023 Paper Pumpkin Kit named Home for the Holidays. Let me thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're brand new to my channel or have watched a few and yet to subscribe, please consider hitting the subscribe button below. And I appreciate your support by doing that. Let me take care of a little bit of business before we get to our alternatives. Going on now is the Stampin' Up! Has a special on the starter kit. To celebrate their 35th anniversary, they are offering, you get two options. You can choose to get your starter kit at 35% off, or you can use option 2 and get 35% more of free products in your starter kit. So if you're interested in this, have ever considered being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, now is the time. And I'll have a link in the video description below of how you can join as part of my team. So, or if you have any questions, leave me a comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you. So there's that. And then I finally received my add-on cards, and I said I would show those when they came. So these are the Warm Wishes cards and envelopes that are meant to be an add-on for the November kit. So you can convert those into cards. The item number for this is 163985. Now these items are while supplies last, and last I looked they were still available. So as I said, they're going to be large cards. You can see here on my grid sheet that unfolded, they're 10 by 7. So they'll make 5 by 7 cards, and there are envelopes that to use for them. Now this is a beautiful envelope in real red. There's nothing on the inside, but if you choose to cut this up and use as DSP, that would make some pretty cards as well. Now I will probably cut these up at least in half, and then that way I can get 40, because as they come there are 20 of these. So if you decide to cut them in half, you would have 40 card fronts that you could make into alternate cards. All right, let me set this aside and we can get to our alternates. Now, pre-warning that the next two alternates are going to be Avid. I love making Avid cards, and I love showing the potential that these paper pumpkin kits can add if you are more of an Avid person. Now, before I get started, I'm going to put this away in my 9 by 7 Velcro envelope. Now, this Velcro envelope is part of my favorite things. I think in my last video I accidentally called them special things. They are special, but I call these my special things, and these are items that I use in my craft room to help organize things and to keep everything tidy as best I can. So let's get started on the alternate card. For this card, you're going to need a white card base, which I, again, store a whole bunch of pre-scored card bases in these envelopes as well. They'll also hold the memories and more cards in envelopes, if that's something you like. So let me use my bone folder to score this. So it's nice and it's flat. Now, you'll notice when you score, there could be a side that picks up easier, and that's going to be my front. So I want to keep that there. You're going to want a full-size panel of Night of Navy cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I just have an extra one here for my 4th card. Okay, and then you're going to, this is from a online exclusive pre-order that I was able to get. So let me show you that special product for just a second. In November, the first part of November, there will be a new set of online exclusives. And online exclusives is just a bunch of products that come out, I think, two or three times a year. And they're just not in any catalogs. They're online only. So I want to show you the Garden Meadow Suite. So here are the dies and here are the stamps. Now one neat thing is there is a die for every stamp in here. And so let me give you a closer look at what's all available. So I think that's a cute, cute, cute set. So I went ahead and did the pre-order for that. Now, what I call the star of the show would be this designer series paper called Meandering Meadow. So I'm going to give you a quick peek of it. So if you were a fan of the On the Horizon DSP, this is kind of the same thing. So I'm going to have it here, and I'm going to show you the alternate side here. Just going to do a quick flip so you can get an idea of all the beautiful paper that's in this. So I've already seen some simply just cut this paper and put it behind the window scene. Very simple, easy, nice cards. Okay, so that's each design, and I believe you get 4 of each one in this pack. Okay, also part of the suite are some birds and hummingbirds. Excuse me, dragonflies, not hummingbirds. So these are nice and cute. They're much like the butterfly adhesive back that we can get. And then also part of the suite is this pecan pie ribbon. And I think it's a cotton ribbon, and it's very easy to work with. You can see here, make a quick bow-ish. So it's very easy to work with. A nice soft texture. All right, so that is the pre-order of the Garden Meadow Suite. And so that's the die that I used for this add-on, or excuse me, this alternative. Getting my words all mixed up. All right, so we have our card base, our 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 Night of Navy, and the window. So I wanted to pop this up, and dimensionals would be fine. You can use the side of your dimensional sheets where it's a whole solid piece. Let me see, I stuck it back in here. All right, you can use like that or put a whole lot of dimensionals, but I'm going to use these strips. Now, these strips we've received as part of the June paper pumpkin kit. These were a part of the kit, but if you've used all those and wanted it to be more of a strip, through the online store there are foam adhesive strips, and a lot of these are used when you want to make a shaker card because it's solid. I'm not going to make a shaker card out of this. You could. It would make a nice shaker card. And speaking of products, I do still have a current host code for October, and any orders placed using this host code will receive a special gift from me when your order of merchandise totals $75 or more. So that would be a good thing to add to your stash to have on hand. But I'm going to use these leftover from the June. I'm almost out, but I can cut up the sides as well. So just 2 big ones left. Then we had a whole bunch of tiny ones. And since this isn't a shaker card, I don't have to go completely fill in all the gaps. So I'm just going to do corner, corner. One to support the top. And I'll put 2 down here on the bottom. Now I did cut this window out of a thick white, so that it has a little more support than the plain white. Okay, I'm done with those. One more tip. When you go to cut this window out, what I did is I took the die and I took my T-ruler, which is also one of my favorite things, and I set it here, and I did, of course it's on dimensionals now, so it'll be hard. So I said, okay, I want in about that far, and then I made sure my T was against it, and then I washi taped it down in a few places before I went to cut it. That way I knew my window would be straight on this piece of paper, which is 4 by 5 1/4. I don't think I mentioned that. So there's a little tip when you go to cut windows out or things that you need straight. All right, I'm going to put this away now in my box. I made a box of goodies so I didn't have stuff strewn all over my craft table this time. Let's see if that helps me stay organized. Okay, by the way, I am using a new mic. I bought a clip-on mic, and I'm hoping that it picks me up a little better and maybe doesn't get some of the table noise. So let me know if that makes a difference, if you've watched my other videos. Alright, so I'm going to glue the Night of Navy straight down onto my card base. Alright, so just flip it over. Now when I have a whole solid panel, I tap it on my desk, keep my hand on each side, side to side, so it's kind of even. Now if your card or your base is a little different in size, then I just try to center it. And I have blue ink on my finger again. So, alright, that seems to be good. We'll set that aside. And now we can put our window outline down. Let me give these a press, make sure they're all down. Ooh, I even bought refills of this kit so that I could make a bunch of cards for Christmas. Alright, now I'm hoping to not get my hair in, but I need to stand straight over this to try to get it centered because they are very sticky. You get one shot. Alright, I think I did good. Okay, so now I took this die set from the kit, and this is one of the homes that would layer as part of the first intended card, but I wanted to add it to this scene. So I took the inside of this cutout, and to help with time, I blended some Night of Navy ink on this panel. So you've seen me blend ink before, and I just wanted to save time because these are more detailed cards. Alright, so then I have my die cut. Now I emboss this like I did all the other my other alternates with the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. So you'll just want to be aware of when you're die cutting this, that you stick it in kind of like that and then run it through if you don't want to get it on your houses. Now if you do it with the Stampin' Up! Logo on top, you will get punching up. You'll get the snowflakes and the dots that pop up. If you do it the other way, they'll go down into the paper, if that makes sense. So just decide which one you like. Now, because when I did that, I didn't want to get the house, it left off some of this. So I'm going to take my paper snips and just trim that off so that it looks like it's solid snow. So I'm just going to kind of go wiggly around the tree and then make a curve much like the piece itself. Alright, so now we have continuing snow along that piece. So next, I want to add some stars to this piece. Now this little bitty star stamp was included in the stamp set for this kit. So I'm going to use my Night of Navy ink and just put a few, but I want to know, okay, where am I going to put my house so that I can get the stars in there. So I'm just going to do a few, turning so they're in different spots. And I think 3 is sufficient. So I can dab the ink off of it. Close this up so I don't get ink on everything. Okay, now you can adhere this to this panel. So I'm going to get my Tombow multi-purpose glue again that I have in this fine tip glue bottle. And I may have to add adhesive along the bottom when I'm done, but we're going to have some that we have to cut off. So let's just start with that. By the way, this is the foam thing. If you get the carry case for the blocks, I kept those because it makes a good Stampin' Pierce mat when my Stampin' Pierce mat goes missing. Alright, let me get off that glue so I don't get it all over everything. Alright, so you just want to adhere that where you want it. And then we're going to trim off the rest of it. I'm just going to trim that along the window trying not to cut the window. And then the snow, if you want to, you don't have to go completely against the window. It can tuck in under. So that's just a little bit of trash. And then we can stick this in here. Now this is the beauty of liquid glue. Let me let that sit a second so that it doesn't move around. Okay, you'll also want to get out one of your trees from the kit. And then I chose to use a different Merry Christmas. If this kit is the only one you have, the sentiment of Merry Christmas would probably look good right here. Without maybe the trees, it would fit. But I went to my most recent other paper pumpkin kit from last year called From the North Pole. This was November of 2022, and it had a nice Merry Christmas. So that's the one I used on this label, which this label is from the Nested Essential Dies. It's the smallest label in here. And the item number for this is 161597. So these are a nice set of dies to include for labels if you don't have those. Okay, hopefully that's dried enough and I can get back out my Tombow. Now this is the beauty of the Tombow glue, is that you'll have some wiggle room to move this inside your frame. So I'm going to stick the snow scene in and poke that in and then move it to its center. Now I'm going to pick this up so I can see it. Okay, that looks pretty good to me right there. Now that in itself is a nice card, but I wanted to still jazz it up some more. So I just received one of the new bundles in the mini catalog called The Joy of Noel. And it had this greenery die in here. So I wanted to add that up here into the scene. And I have it pre-die cut right here. Now, it does help to use adhesive sheet or something. If you don't have adhesive sheets, you could take tear and tape and just put along the back, and it would get a few. So this is very sticky. So I want to put this, looks like I got a strand that stuck. Okay, well, he'll just be extra garland there because he's stuck pretty good. Well, I'm afraid I'll tear the whole thing. All right, so let's stick him in the corner through like that. Now, I tried not to get it on these leaves, but I did, and they're going to stick, and that's okay if they stick there. All right, let's add our trees here to the corner. I got a little too much there. I'll use my glue eraser on that in a minute. Or maybe when I'm done off screen. Okay, so the trees there, and then my sentiment here. Not upside down. Okay, so then I was happy with that, but I went one more step further. And one of my very, very, very favorite, yes, that was a lot of berries, item in the mini catalog is the Oh Holy Night Suite. And I took the Stars at Night dies. Now there's this die right here that has these little bitty stars. And the trinkets are currently out of stock, or I may have done some of the star trinkets, but since those aren't available, I wanted to make something that we all can use. Okay, so I pre-die cut those, and I'm going to try not to lose them. So, I mean, look how tiny. Tiny, tiny stars. Okay, that one. And then I did use the next bigger star for like the North Star. All right, so you want to get either your foam sheet, because when you die cut them, I don't know if this shows, there's a little dot that comes out in the center, and that's where you can poke it out of the die. I didn't really like that dot, So I took my bone folder and with the smooth end, I just kind of smushed it. Now I did do this with it's retired brass sheets that I got off the clearance rack, but any of the gold metallic paper is what is current. Now to put these down, I'm going to use a glue dot that we receive with our paper pumpkin kits. And I'm looking for a smaller one. And I did even cut these smaller ones in half. Yes, I have a bunch of scissors on my table. So I just kind of cut the glue dot in half. I took my take your pick tool. All right, and I decided where I wanted them. Let's put the big star here. You know what? He'll get a full dot. Now, I'll tell you a secret with these little stars. So apparently this brass paper has some backing, and I can't get it off until I put it on the glue dot, and then I have to add another one. So let's see if that happens again like it did on my first cards. Well, it's stuck. Let's see if it peels off. No? Okay, well, it's making a liar out of me. I swear on my other ones, the backing came off. Where do we want this one? Maybe here? All right, so I was real happy that we had these little bitty tiny stars, especially since the trinkets are unavailable. I'm going to use a full little glue dot here. And this is the putty end of the Take Your Pick tool. I just leave it off my Take Your Pick tool and use it like this. So that way I don't keep twisting and losing putty. All right, so that is my first Avid alternate using one of the pieces here. So what do you think of that? I have two others made over here. This one I haven't added the stars yet. And this one shows the snow impression down. I don't know if that shows very well. And then another one, whoops, I guess I need to make sure that garland doesn't get bent. All right, so this one uses the 2021 Merry Christmas saying on the same label. So what do you think of those? So you can make 4 of these because you have 4 of those die cut pieces in one kit. All right, so I'm going to put this leftover one and we can get to our second alternative. All right, so we have another house scene that I haven't used yet. So that's what we're going to use for the next one. And that is this house scene. So I used the longer house scene in my second set of alternatives that I showed in my last video. So this one, the window was too small, all right, because I didn't want to lose any of the scenery. So I brought in another die set that I like to use. This one is the Digging in My Box. Here it is. This is the Radiating Stitches dies, and the item number for it is 161595. Now I cut the big one, okay, and then I took the second largest to cut out the center of this die cut. Now if you don't have this die cut, you could make a frame with any of your dies. This is the deckled rectangle dies. You can make a frame with it. If you have the retired stitched rectangles, you can make a frame with it. Even the Countryside Inn dies that coordinated with the June kit would make a nice frame for this card. All right, so we have the frame, our die cut, which I pre-embossed with that snowflake sky. All right, and I've done the pre of the glitter glue on there so that it'll be dry. We need a panel. This is a full panel of white that's also embossed with that snowflake sky 3D embossing folder, and a card base, which I didn't put in the little envelope. I always keep these by my desk. All right. Get my bone folder to give this a nice crease. Okay, now see, you can see here that this side, maybe you can't see, it's hard, white, is a little smaller, and this side's a little bigger, so I want this to be my front. All right, and let's go ahead and adhere the snowflake sky on our card. So this is going to be a landscape card. So that's something else to be aware of when you're embossing your paper, is the direction of the snow. And I just put the more snow down here because it fell and collected on the ground. All right, Tombow multi-purpose glue again. This is an optional step. A lot of it is covered up, but I wanted to have a very detailed card. Give it a little more interest. All right, so let's stick it on there. Tap, tap, side to side, little rub. Okay, that seems to be on there. All right, for this scene, I also wanted to put a sky behind there. So I brought in a piece of, this is, let me just measure, it's 2.75 by 4 1/4. Now when you cut your paper, if you'll first do the 4 1/4, you can get 4 at 2.75 going up on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And you can see here when I blended my ink, I did start here just because I knew the house would cover that up, and then I blended out from there to help smooth the sky. So I'm going to put this, well actually I'm going to do my, got to do my house first. So you got to decide, okay, which do you want to cover up? More of the trees, you know, left and right, you can kind of decide. And then I did want to leave that down on the sky. So again, I'm going to stamp some stars in 9 of Navy. And by the way, this was also blended with 9 of Navy, like the other card. So let's put some stars in the sky. I'm going to do some coming in there. Oh, this isn't stars, this is snowflakes. Did I say stars before? If I did, I apologize. It's snowflakes. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and then we want to adhere our house scene on this panel. So it is the same width as this house scene, 4 1/4. So let's get back our Tombow multi-purpose glue. By the way, if you're tuning in, I do love to hear where people are tuning in from. It's just kind of, I do read all the comments. So if you have a kind comment, I like to read those as well as any questions you may have. All right, so let's let that sit a second. Now, I am going to pop this one up on dimensionals as well. And I am going to use dimensionals because I'm running out of those strips, and I want to save those strips for the other card. So I'm just going to put plenty of dimensionals on the back of this radiating die frame. Use the corner there. So I do cut my dimensionals in half. I find that that is sufficient, and then even though I'm putting these everywhere, it's not as many as you would think it is. All right, let's just do one more here to support that. Okay, now I'm not going to be able to slide this one under like I did the other one, I don't think. So I need to kind of get this where I want it first. See if that's good. Okay, so now I know I need to cut off some of the snow piece. So let's just start with like half of it. Okay, that's going to be plenty. So I can eyeball about where it was. So this, you're going to have to kind of work quick, all right? So you're just going to have to, you know, what's that called? Measure twice, cut once. All right. Oh, I moved it. Darn. All right, so it's a glue down. Okay, that's going to look good. So let's put it there. Holding it in place. Putting some liquid glue down. Okay, I should have already had these backings off. That way, if my glue hasn't dry, I could scoot it a little bit. We're going to trust that it didn't move. And the worst case is I peel it off and we go again. Lots of backings. So what are you? Are you an Avid crafter? Do you like these Avid cards from the kits? All right, let's put this down in the center of the card, eyeballing. Okay, I think I did good. Pretty straight, and it shows the whole scene without the sides. Whoops, got my mat knot stuck down. Okay, so there is that. Now, I did decide to use the sentiment from the kit, and I did create, you can create these labels. They're pretty easy to have more labels. All right, and so I'm going to put that right along there with my Tombow multi-purpose glue. And then I don't know if I have enough stars, but I wanted to put stars in the sky of this one as well. Let's see if I have any in my other little packet. Looks like I do. Now I do have another Oh Holy Night card I want to share when I'm done with the paper pumpkins, but I just, he's been sitting there a while going, share me, and then I keep getting paper pumpkin alternates. So I will have to cut the other large sky or star later, but I can get my glue dots wherever I push those off to, or just get another sheet. I have all these little boxes that I keep the glue dots and whatnot from the kit. These are not another small. Here's one. Okay, so I'm probably going to put the big star there when I cut another one of those. And let's put a little one here. And my putty. Well, I lost my Take Your Pick tool putty that I used earlier. All right, let's see if I can just put him on there. Okay, and then the big star is going to go there. Maybe we need one over here. In the sky. Okay, and then we'll put the big one there. Let me look one more time for that Oh Holy Night. I stole stars out of it for this kit. Okay, well, I'll add that other big star like the previous card here. Okay, so that is my alternative. Here is my one that I pre-made with the big star. So what do you think about these alternates? As you can see, this house is a little different than that one, and I don't think it matters. So you can put your scene where you want it or where it happens to land. I did put more snowflakes on this one. I could probably add another one, or add more stars. So anyway, these are my alternatives for this one. I'm hoping to have at least one more set of alternates with this kit. So anyway, if you missed any of the others, be sure and go watch those. I made one with the envelope flap, one with the longer houses, and also one with a card base that I've cut in half and added the stamp houses. And I've showed some coloring tips on those in those videos as well. But anyway, before we sign off, again, give me a thumbs up if you've watched this video and like it. Be sure and share with your other Paper Pumpkin friends that you may know that have received this kit. And until my next video, you have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.